Coffee Talk. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, 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 peace. And welcome to the show, Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast show, and this is our Coffee Talk Wednesday night sports edition. I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. How y'all doing today? It's another Wednesday. We ain't seen y'all since last week. And today's April 13th, and we got a big show tonight. We definitely want to talk about my team. Yeah. My Minnesota Timber Puppies. Big shouts out to the Timberwolves. But we definitely going to discuss the Timberwolves and their behavior last night. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on it. Patrick Beverley, we're going to definitely dive on in and talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves. And we want to go back and talk about, you ever heard of the cliche, all money ain't good money? Well, let's go ahead and add that up by talking about Magic Johnson and what he says is one of his biggest regrets when it comes to business. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If this is your first time tuning into our show, Coffee Talk Podcast, we are a cultural variety podcast show. We appear 3 times a week to our supporters and our subscribers. And every Monday, we like to give you what we call Cultural Studies Night. So basically what we do is we will read a book or paragraph, a chapter. We'll talk about authors, scientists, doctors, our people. We'll definitely give you that perspective from a cultural perspective and part of our story. So we do that on Mondays. On Wednesdays is our sports edition. We're not like any typical sports show. We don't care who really won or lost. What we like to do is we like to go ahead and give you a cultural perspective on our athletes and their dealings within the world of sports. And then on Friday or Saturday, we like to alternate those days. But those are days of fun. Those are days that we call the end of the week. It's grown folks night. We like to have guests. We like to do 10-question Q&A. We like to just have an enjoyment. Now, if we ever miss a Saturday, we'll make it up Sunday for you. All right. So thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk. And again, if this is your first time checking out our show, we never start the show without giving it some flavor. So tonight's flavor, we're going to go ahead and dive in. This is from Sports Eats. But tonight's flavor is black tea. Black tea is generally considered the most popular type of tea in the world, known for its bold flavor, variety of blends, and long shelf life. But with all those different black tea varieties, it's hard to know where to start. That's where Twinings English breakfast tea comes in. It's a standard, straightforward black tea beloved by many, and for good reason. Twinings English breakfast has a strong taste, and it's available in both caffeinated and decaf varieties. It's sourced from a medley of top tea regions, including China, Indonesia, Kenya, Assam, and Malawi. And like most kinds of black tea, you can store it in your cupboard for months without losing its freshness and its flavor. So that's tonight's tea right there. Black tea is tonight's Coffee Talk flavor. And also, we never continue without giving or adding with that flavor some words of wisdom. So the words of wisdom tonight for tonight's flavor is stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish. Don't get discouraged about how fast or how slow it takes for you to accomplish your goal. So that's what I want to leave you with right there. All right. Thank you for tuning into the show. Let's go ahead and start. Man, did y'all see the game last night between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Clippers? Yeah, my Timberwolves won, and I'm excited about that because it is time for the NBA playoffs. These games currently are play-in games, is what they call it. So they started this about a year or two ago. where the teams from the 10th seed all the way to a 6th seed will battle for position to see who gets into the playoffs, or actually to the 7th seed will battle to see who makes the final 2 selections of the playoffs. So Minnesota Timberwolves is playing against the Clippers, and it was a very hard fought game, by the way, I should say that. And I do want to say this. I have to apologize because I didn't think that D'Lo gave us enough at the point guard position for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But he stepped up last night. He stepped up big. I even enjoyed watching this game. You know, his hesitant dribble to get the foul calls and then get the shot off. He was killing that in the paint last night. You know. And then you got Ant-Man, you know, man, he's a baller. You know what I'm saying? The Timberwolves got a nice young backcourt right now, very strong, very overlooked because, you know, most of the sports media shows or circuits are on each coast, on the East or West Coast. So, you know, they don't never like to give love to us Midwest teams. I mean, look how they treat Greek Freak, who, by the way, is the best basketball player in the league to me. I mean, this man dropped 50 and 14 in the championship game to seal the deal. And whenever he plays against other players, to me, he seems like he's just a grown man playing against boys. I mean, from his body size, he's a 7-footer that can put the ball on the ground. He goes downhill. He's starting to develop a jump shot. He's hitting that three-pointer. I mean, man, this dude, and he's only 25 years old. You know, he's going to be around dominating for a while. You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and continue with what, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I want to say this first before I dive in with the Timberwolves. I like Patrick Beverley. I liked him when he was with the Clippers. He has grit. He's definitely a brother you want on your team. He's going to go for the loose ball fouls. He's going to take the charges. He's going to get you some buckets, and he's a hell of a competitor. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say that. Leadership-wise, well, I got to question it a little bit. But let's go ahead and talk about last night's game. So the Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Los Angeles Clippers 109-104 Tuesday night to secure the 7th seed in the Western Conference. It was the second of the NBA playing games of the evening. After the big win, the Timberwolves celebrated like they had won a title. That's what everybody's talking about today. Shaq and Charles Barkley ate them boys up, and Kenny just laughed. Oh, wow. Wait till we get to that. Yeah, but the Timberwolves hadn't made the postseason since 2008, you know. That's a long time. Definitely a long time. What we got there, 14 years? But no one celebrated as hard as Patrick Beverley. I mean, Beverley, he excited everybody, the fans, I mean, everybody. But what was crazy about it is Patrick Beverley's jumping on the scores table. Ant-Man's jumping on the scores table. These cats did act like they won the championship. Patrick Beverley takes off his jersey, throws it into the stands. I'm just painting a picture before I go into how I feel about it. Yeah, I mean, it looked crazy. It looked crazy because I've been here in the Twin Cities for some championship runs with the Minnesota Twins. You know, that was incredible. You know, they had the Minnesota Twins, the Homer Hanky. The stadium was creating volumes, decimals of sound waves. I mean, it was really bananas. But what I want to say to this, because I did research a little bit after I watched the game, I wanted to get more intel on Patrick Beverley. But here's the situation. Patrick Beverley celebrated the win, and then he decided to take shots at the Clippers. The Clippers is a team who traded him this past summer, and he's clearly not a fan of the organization or his former teammates. Some of them he's still cool with, but, you know, he has an issue with the Clippers, as he stated afterwards. I was going to play the video. Let me see if I can get that for you. Of Patrick Beverley, man. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper because there's some things I do want to discuss about it. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you what. You will have to go ahead and pull that video up. I don't have it set yet. But yeah, Patrick Beverley of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's my thoughts on Patrick. I don't mind you getting back at a team that didn't appreciate you. I mean, Patrick Beverley is one of the top 2 defenders in the league. Also with that boy Smart out there in Boston for the Celtics. But any coach in their right mind would take a Patrick Beverley. He does the dirty work on the court. My problem with Patrick Beverley is, Patrick Beverley, you done been to the Western Conference Finals. So I understand your excitement of knocking off this team, the LA Clippers, who didn't appreciate you, who did trade you to the Memphis Grizzlies, and then the Minnesota Timberwolves came in and got you from the Grizzlies. I understand you wanted to get back at that team that didn't appreciate you. But what I expect out of you, being the vet that you are, is some type of composure to show these young fellas that who are not frequent with getting into the playoffs. They ain't been to the playoffs since 2008. Some people consider them soft. The organization soft. And you being the veteran that you are, I would think that, yeah, you would show your emotion because that's the type of guy you are. You wear your emotion on your sleeve when you're out there on the court, and that's good. In that sense, in that defensive sense. However, I wouldn't have thought that you'd have jumped on score tables and threw the jersey up there and act like you won a championship. All of the veterans are laughing. Shaq, LeBron, Charles Barkley. They're texting saying, damn, did I miss something? Did the Timberwolves win a championship? No, man. You were supposed to gather that win, and whatever emotion you have, save it for later and tell those young men, look, we got more room to grow. We have a lot more to do now that we are in the playoffs, getting ready to take on second seed Memphis Grizzlies. A team that went 15-2 without Ja Morant. Do I think y'all can beat the Memphis Grizzlies? Absolutely. But I tell you what, Big Cat can't play like that. He looked trash last night. He looked sorry last night. He looked like he was simping. Is that the word that the kids use today? Come on, Big Cat. You got people around you, bro. Now we need the anger. And I ain't talking about how you played last night. Last night you was trying to just run over people. You was playing bully ball last night and you picked up 4 quick fouls. If you are a star player getting that type of money, you can't pick up 4 quick fouls. The majority of the fouls was on the offensive end. But Patrick Beverley, going back to you, it's okay to celebrate, man. It's okay to be happy of any victory you get in professional sports because it's hard to get a victory in some sports. I don't see franchises, we all have. We don't see franchises where, shit, they might have won 10 games all season, 16 games. So I understand when a team doesn't appreciate you, you want to go back and bust their ass. You want to go back and let them know that they shouldn't have gave up on you. You're a definitely solid player, man. But where the leadership lacks is the behavior we saw last night. No, man, start getting your young troops ready. And that's not to say that you won't. But you never act like you won a championship and you haven't, or you haven't accomplished nothing. And by saying, hey, man, I accomplished us going to the playoffs, you should be in the playoffs anyway. Let's stop playing around, Timberwolves. How many first-round picks have you had? How many of those fifth picks have we had? And you chose to pick mediocre players, man. And if you ever retire Ricky Rubio's jersey, I'll lose my mind. What has he done? Patrick Beverley, you have to act like you've been there before. That's all we really trying to say. We're not downing you, though, because you know the flavor that we have here at Coffee Talk is we big up all of ours. We big up all of ours. So we definitely tipping our hat off to you, Patrick Beverley, for getting the Timberwolves into the playoffs. Again, they're going to face Memphis Grizzlies this weekend in the opener. I want to say it's Friday night, but it might be Saturday. But that's just my thoughts, man. If you want to look at video how Patrick Beverley was acting in his post conference after the game, definitely go to YouTube, check it out. You know, I apologize, I don't have the video right now. We'll make sure we get that for you in the future when we have more stories. All right, going next segment, we're going to go ahead and talk about Magic Johnson. Yeah, Magic Johnson's in the news. Again, this is Coffee Talk, so we definitely want to give you the flavor, give you the big ups on Magic Johnson, Mr. Number 32, Mr. Purple and Gold, Mr. 5 Rings, Mr. 6'9", Mr. Smiles, Mr. Magic. Yeah, we're going to definitely talk about that. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. So Magic Johnson was asked on Ellen DeGeneres. Am I pronouncing that right? Y'all let me know. Throw it in the comments and let me know if I'm pronouncing that chick's name right. But anyway, Magic Johnson was on the show. And according to the score written by writer Kathleen Horrod, she says, Magic Johnson is still kicking himself for choosing Converse over Nike early in his NBA career. The Los Angeles Lakers legend recently explained how he passed on signing with Nike in 1979 because the company offered him stock options. Johnson admittedly knew nothing about stocks, so he opted for a cash deal with Converse instead. Now, that cash deal was reported to be $100,000 at the time. I never heard of a stock at 19 years old, so I took the money. Man, I would have been a trillionaire by now, Magic Johnson said. You think about it, in 1979, getting that stock then and what's it's worth today, yikes. So that kills me every single time I think about that. And I'm like, man, Michael Jordan would have been making me so much money. The story of Johnson turning down an offer from Nike co-founder Phil Knight was depicted in episode 6 of the HBO series Winning Time. Winning Time is a show about the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty, and you definitely should check that out. You know, it's definitely a good show on HBO. It's the rise of the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty. And in the episode, though, going back to Phil Knight offered Magic Johnson $100,000, like I had stated, in the stock options, plus $1 for every shoe that was shipped, which the show estimated would be about $5.2 billion today. So had he took the stock option, he would been at least worth $5.2 billion. So, you know, that's where we go back to that old cliche, man. All money ain't good money. But in this case, how are you to know? I mean, again, you're thinking back in 1979, $100,000 used to be a lot of money. In 79, I was a young kid, but I can remember those times because 1980, 84, 86, 89, shit, 250, 300,000 was a lot of money. Back then, you know. But while Johnson regrets declining a deal with Nike, he still did well for himself financially. You know, the 62-year-old currently has an estimated net worth of over $600 million. So, hey, man, that's the story. What's your thoughts on the stock game? Do you got cryptocurrency going on? Do you got Robinhood, or what stock platforms are y'all looking at y'all stocks, man? What do you what's a good stock out there? So go ahead and leave a comment on that. Let us know. And what's your thoughts, man? Magic Johnson, he's a bad boy, man. When it comes to this business thing, he's just as great in business as he is on the court. He owns a lot of stuff, man. He also co-owns the Los Angeles Dodgers too, man. So, but anyway, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the show tonight. Every Wednesday we give you this sports flavor. And we try to give it to you from this perspective, so that's what we do here at Coffee Talk Podcast. May you have enjoyed our show tonight. We really appreciate you supporters and you viewers for stopping in 3 times a week, or if some of our supporters and viewers, they like to come in just on Monday, or they like to come in on the weekend. Some come 3 days a week, some just come on Wednesday night. I tell you what, we do appreciate you though. You know what I'm saying? So again, whenever you're around and Coffee Talk is coming on, come on in. Pour yourself some coffee, pour yourself some cappuccino, pour yourself a smoothie, pour yourself some wine, pour yourself some water. But come on in, kick your feet up, and just enjoy yourself. That's what we're talking about. All right, so I'm your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Sports Edition podcast. I'm going to hit you with the universal peace sign, and I'm out of here. I'm gone until next time. Peace.